Hello.
Hello.
I'm Callum.
And I am Monica Lou's 2022 Sentimente Bang on the Eurovision stage.
And that's Nick. And this is...
That's Eurovision, baby.
Do you want to say that again? Monica Lou's Sentimente Bang on the Eurovision stage.
I think I said exactly what I wanted to say.
Okay.
Actually.
No, I love that. Her lovely bob moment.
Yeah.
I want to pay you a compliment before we start today's episode, Nick, which is this tizzy top you're wearing right now.
I do love a tizzy top.
This haute couture butterfly situation. It is beautiful. You've really shown up today.
Thank you.
I have not. If you're just listening to this, Nick is wearing a beautiful top that's embroidered with turquoise butterflies.
If it helps, I'm now fondling the butterflies for any people listening on Spotify.
Exactly. So there might be a bit of ASMR. I am dressed as a substitute teacher, so we're hitting both ends of the spectrum today.
But sometimes there's not enough respect paid to our substitute teachers. They're the ones that always had to cup of water paper to the back of the head.
Do you know what? That's exactly right. I am actually making a political statement right now.
Yeah.
Support our substitute teachers because God knows I did not at high school.
I don't think any of us did.
No.
But you know what we do support?
Eurovision?
Divas.
On
Divas
at Eurovision.
Stage.
Love it. Okay, well, Nick, what are we talking about today?
So today, now I know what you're thinking. They've already talked about all the songs. They've already talked about all the robbed songs. What more could these two idiots possibly have to keep banging on about? Well, let me tell you, we are not done yet.
No way, Jose.
Exactly. Today, we will be talking to you. And by to you, I mean specifically to the delegates for each nation. We will be breaking this down into a couple of parts because we want to make sure that you really get the full diagram from us, because we are telling you objectively, with no notes or discourse, how to win Eurovision for your country.
Yes, we are going to be breaking down each song from the Eurovision Song Contest 2025 this year and discussing what they can do to give themselves the best shot of winning. We're talking all things from vocal performance to staging. We're going to be hypothesizing cool ideas, all in the aim of giving these songs their best possible shot. Now, you may be thinking, what qualifications do these guys have to talk on that? And I will tell you right now, None. But we're passionate, and that's what matters.
Exactly. And sometimes caring is the most important thing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And we care.
Exactly. And I care a lot.
So, formatting. We're going to be going in alphabetical order because we're original like that. We're going to be doing 6 songs per episode. So don't think we're going to be doing this for all 36 songs in the competition. Just the first 6.
Yeah, because how could we possibly give all of the comments and direction that are needed to each nation if we're trying to cover them all in a single episode?
Exactly.
I think not.
And look, Nick, not all songs are created equally. So there are going to be songs where we're actually going to be talking about how this could win. But there's going to be songs where we're just going to be talking about how can they qualify. Yeah. And there's going to be a select few songs where we're going to be talking about how can they leave the non-qualifier with their head held high, knowing that they gave it their best shot and they were never going to make the Eurovision final.
Exactly. How you can go home waving your tiny little flag of your nation without doing it sort of like
not
this.
A limp flag.
Exactly, because sometimes that's the best you can hope for.
Exactly. So, yeah, we're really excited to talk about this. We have a lot of ideas. We're very visual people. And, also, if you guys have ideas of what you would love to see from certain countries, you listen to a song, you saw it stage and went, oh, my God, they need this to win. Let us know, because we want to share this information with everyone. And as Nick said, we'll be emailing this in a little package to each delegation. So
exactly. So expect to brick through your window soon
with just a USB.
Yeah, with a USB that just says "watch."
Yeah,
please.
Yeah.
Let's start then.
Let's kick this off. So
with alphabetically,
yes,
if nothing else,
yes,
our first country, Albania.
Yes.
So I think first what would be good, because something that will be very important for each of these nations that are required to go through and qualify in particular, we'll be looking at exactly where they sit in their semi-final lineup, which we know has now been released.
Yeah, we've just gotten, which is really helpful. Yeah.
So looking at Albania, where they are sitting in their semi-final.
First semi-final.
Yeah. First semi-final, second half, right about the middle of the second half.
Yes.
In between San Marino and the Netherlands.
Number 12 in the running order. So really good position for them. So I think straight out of the bat, it's a strong song with a strong position. Pretty confident it's going to qualify. Now, we're not going to speculate on every country qualifying. That is a different episode we have planned. Yeah. We're just going to say that they probably their default is really good right now. They're not having to fight from a losing position. No death spot for Albania this year.
I agree. And I think it's going to be very good for them because I think that they bring a vastly different energy and a vastly different style to both the song that they come before and after.
This will stand out in between San Marino and the Netherlands,
I
for sure.
completely agree. So let's break it down then.
Yes.
Let's talk about the song itself.
Yes.
Here we can talk about the song.
Let's talk about the song. I want to talk about the song.
So we're going to talk about the song. We're going to talk about the sound. We're going to talk about the mixing. We're going to talk about the vocal performance. We're going to talk about all the bits and pieces.
Merci, merci. Sorry. It was, but gay.
Yeah.
Merci, merci.
So, Albania.
Yes.
For me.
Oh, not going to ask me. That's interesting.
No. I like where I am. Much like the Netherlands.
Just like you like
come
Albania.
After me.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
So, vocally, for me, I think that she is fantastic.
Should we probably name the song?
Yes.
Shkodra Elektronik Germ?
Shkodra Elektronik and Germ for Albania. So, I believe her name is Beatrice.
I think so.
Or something to that effect. So, I think that vocally, she's fantastic. I think that we saw in the national final, we saw a very convincing vocal performance from her. So I do have very limited worries about that. For him, no, I don't remember his name. I do apologize. But for the gentleman that is in the song with her, I think that his voice needs to be a little bit heavier in the mix because I think if you look at the recorded version versus the version that was brought to the stage, I think that we saw his voice featured a lot more heavily in the mix, and I think it was really effective. Cole.
Cole?
I
don't know.
Yeah, we saw his song featured a lot more heavily in the mix, and I think that was really effective because obviously when you're doing that like low, growly, vocal, gravelly sort of performance.
Jam.
Puberty. Happens to us all.
I'm a tenor, I would like everyone to know. So I really find those notes very natural.
You're a tenor to me, Del.
Jam. Yeah. That was good.
Oh, that was.
Thank
That
you.
was a little bit sexy. Turn that up in the mix.
Call me, oh my darling, can't get enough of your little babe. Anyway.
Sure. So I think that his voice needs to be a lot heavier in the mix because I think that like the whole
in the recorded mix, or do you mean like live in the
live
Yeah,
mix, because I think in the recorded mix I actually found that it was quite good, and
it
I
was
think
fantastic.
his it gave like very sexy
Yes.
gravelly. Whereas like I found that on the national final stage, his presence there,
Yes.
I think was a little bit more awkward than the mix.
Yeah, national finals typically have not the best sound mixing. I would say only a handful, Finland, Sweden, come to mind as having like really good sound mixing, and so they're always kind of fighting against it. Interestingly, Albania, their national final uses a live orchestra, which I think can work really well.
Yeah.
But I think, and it did work for this song, but I think the issue is with a song with these really cool electronic production elements, I thought they got a bit buried under the live orchestra on the live version.
Agree.
So my first recommendation would actually be, you've got, you can have a backing track in Switzerland, like really up those electronic elements, really like make them punch through every time you hit that drum pad and it goes brown. I want that to be the brown note. I want that to run through
Oh
me.
my god. Like a morning coffee.
Like morning coffee, exactly.
I literally want whenever either of them hit that little drum, I want to see glass shattering and showering on the people in the stadium. I want it to be that Simpsons episode where Bart connected like 50
with
megaphones all
yeah.
together. I want it to be that, but I just want it to...
Yep.
Sorry for anyone listening.
What I love as well is, so if you guys have seen the Basel stage, it's kind of like... I don't know, it's like a frame. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So I'd love it if they were standing kind of where the main stage is. Every time they hit it, like that radiant, I guess you'd call it, that circle that radiates out. Imagine that going right out over the crowd.
Ooh.
I think that'd be a super effective visual piece.
Yeah.
But honestly, not a lot in terms of like sound mix. I think these guys have an incredible song.
Yeah, my only other note for the sound mix, the backing vocalist, the girlie doing
Yeah. I don't think she'll be there. Oh, you want her to be there?
I want her to be there. Bring her to the front of the stage. I actually want her like
hard cut to her face every time
every time, and I want her turned up in the mix because she is serving Kant.
Ladies and gentlemen, one thing Nick absolutely loves is like a random background vocalist who
Steals the moment.
Yeah, who gives energy. So if ever there is a backing vocalist at Eurovision who's just kind of like doing the most, Nick will find them.
One of my favorite performers of Eurovision 2023 was one of Kari's dancers, the one who gave the most musical theatre energy with the biggest chompers and the biggest smile. I just love when a background diva comes and steals a moment, and I think that she could be my Katy Perry's left shark of the year.
100%.
Yeah.
So I guess from a production standpoint, what do we have? We'd love the electronic elements to be punched up more for the stage, and we'd love that backing vocalist to kind of be a bit present in the final.
Be the most present.
But overall, that's not a lot of notes because it's a fantastic song.
I think that they've got a really strong chance with this one.
Mm-hmm.
So then we move on to the staging, because I think one of the most notable things about the staging from the national final was obviously that they had a full live orchestra on the stage, and the stage was a lot smaller, so it felt very full.
And so with a lot of national final stagings, it's important to note that what we see is not necessarily going to be an exact copy-paste. Yeah. Similar to music videos, they're not just going to be recreated on the stage. And so this is kind of exciting for us because we can go a little bit carte blanche and sort of ideate what we want their national final staging to be.
And what do I want it to be?
Yeah, so give me some tips or give me a vision. Paint me a picture, Nick. Where am I?
So, I think that the current staging is very cool.
Yes.
On a very small scale.
Yes.
But I think that on a large stage, like the Eurovision stage, I think that there is high potential for them to get lost. What I kind of need, I think that the storyline of the very, very recently released music video, I think is very cool. If we can get Cole a flaming newspaper.
Yeah. Use those flames somewhere would be very cool. Like, or the burning backdrop as a motif in the music video would be, if they were like the first verse was in front of like a sort of static backdrop of something, and you're like, oh, this is fun, where is it going? And all of a sudden the flames start appearing behind them and it cuts away and all of a sudden you see the audience behind them. That would be cool.
I agree, because I think that what they probably need to do most of all is from the national final staging, they probably need to limit a little bit of the exposure to him in the state that it was in, because I think that while very cool for the Euro bubble and the audience that likes it, I think that he probably has limited appeal to the wider Eurovision watchers on the day, unless when I say that, I mean with him just staring down the camera like that.
I disagree.
Okay. Well, I disagree with your disagreement.
Can I tell you why I disagree?
I suppose.
I think that it's giving the sort of, I think it's camp. Like, I think like this guy staring down the barrel of the lens with his deep voice, kind of like locking in, sort of minimal. I think audiences are gonna love this. I think especially the guys who do the Eurovision drinking games are gonna be so charmed by this song's kind of like about turn when he comes on. I do agree that like if it's lazy, it's not going to be good. But I don't think it was lazy even in the national final when they showcased him.
I don't think it was lazy. I think it was just, I think it went on for a little bit too long without anything changing.
Yeah.
Which is why I think I enjoyed the music video so much, because it was really
very cool.
It was really cool. I would love nothing more than to see two backup dancers with her doing that. That would be very cool to me. But other than that, I'm kind of just excited to see what they do bring.
Yeah.
What do you think?
So, like, I won't spend too much longer in Albania because we have 5 of the songs to cover, but I will say is I actually think no backup dancers. I think when she does a voguing moment, I actually want this to be a solo moment for her on stage. The staging actually blacks out. It's like a spotlight on her. Just hold on her doing the dance. You just hear the crowd absolutely going nuts for this dance she's doing. I think that's a moment we missed at the national final. There was a lot of edits going on. I think we got it a little bit in the music video, but I think that's such an iconic part of this song.
Yeah,
is
like,
her
little
like
part of
her
the
little
song.
bit. That should be heroed in the staging.
Yeah.
You know, we've got our radial brum. We've got like the idea of a backdrop that maybe flames away. We've got kind of something that really elevates Old Mate's bit. But I think the most important thing is that dance needs to be like heroed front and center, like, and you'll hear the stadium erupt in applause. But I do think that what we're talking about is if they tick these things off, I see Armenia kind of hitting maybe a top 10, top 5 placement this year.
Albania?
What did I say?
Armenia.
I do not see Armenia facing a top 5 placement this year, but do we want to talk about
I was
that?
going to say, well, let's speak about that anyway. I would love to hear what you think about Armenia's chances.
So, unfortunately, when we suggest changes, one thing we cannot change is the genre of a song. We're kind of locked into what the song is presented to us as, and so therefore I do not connect with this song. Where is Armenia in the running order? It's 5th in the second semi-final, so it's coming right after Latvia and before Austria, which is interesting. This is a very different song from Latvia and Austria. I think it actually may benefit from this because it's high energy, whereas Latvia's is very kind of like whimsical, and Austria is obviously like opera, like quite dramatic. So this might stand out from the crowd.
My concern with the placement for them is that I think that there is so much noise around Austria this year that I think that people will be seeing Armenia basically just as a road, as an impediment to them getting to Austria.
Armenia might get forgotten because Austria comes and the staging blows everyone away.
Yeah.
Also,
and obviously because Latvia is going to blow everyone out of the water, and they're going to actually potentially come first, because I would love to see Riga 2026.
Exactly.
But that's neither here nor there.
That's your bias coming through. It's my bias too, to be fair. We are Latvia stands. I just want to say very quickly, though, I think that we'll talk about the production and vocals of the song. I think that after we know Latvia is going to deliver beautiful harmonies, we know JJ is going to deliver incredible operatics. If Parg cannot sing on this stage, he is dead. So my first recommendation for Armenia is give this guy vocal lessons, get this guy breath control work so he can jump around on stage and sing, because he did not sing in that national final.
No, it was...
He just yelled and it wasn't in tune and it was bad.
Like my main note for this one was needs serious vocal work, because I think that the mix that they had was already made to drown out the vocals a little bit, and it still did not achieve that. I don't think it's impossible for this song to be reformed. I just think that the current state that it's in needs work. I kind of like the mix of the song, because I think that the mix is like I almost think it should drown out the vocals a little bit. The energy's in the song.
So I actually think one of my other recommendations is the chorus, where it's da 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 survive. He needs to sing that, because if you watch the live version, he does a little dance to it. And he only sings like one of the bits. Like there's a whole song. Watch it and you'll see what I mean. I almost felt like there's too much time dancing. And if there's one thing people who vote, especially in the semi-finals, who are more of fans of the show than the final watchers, if there's not a lot of singing, because the chorus is, think of the Queen of the Night. That chorus she didn't sing, and I think it came last in the semi. So like that's another thing. If he just dances in that chorus, it will not. So sing more and sing well would be my recommendations to give Armenia its best shot at qualifying.
Because unfortunately, all of the other commentary that I have is mainly taste based. So probably not super relevant at this stage.
Do we want to pivot? Because I think we're pretty aligned with production.
I agree.
So I do want to say staging. I quite liked it. I think he has quite strong staging, and he does have a good stage presence.
I agree. He's got a really good stage energy. For me, personally, liked the staging, shaky camera, leave that to Poland.
I can't deal.
That's Poland. That's Poland's thing. You don't need to be coming for that, because it doesn't work.
No.
It was just a bit manic. My other note was his little hill at the back.
Yes.
I thought that was kind of cool. What I think would be really effective is if they had maybe like some guitarists or the band.
Oh, I like that. Yeah, a bit more. Yes, I like that.
Because he didn't use it until the very, very end. Yes. And when he did, he climbed it in a way that I would describe as me going into the office on a Monday morning.
He was tired.
Yeah, he was tired. And to be fair, he'd been putting that puss out on stage for the whole performance.
I actually have a note here on that. I don't like the fact that he climbed that at the end of the song. I thought the other choruses where he is doing it was really dynamic. And then that last chorus where the song is at its most like hitting, he's just walking up a hill, and like you've lost all the energy of the song. And I do think, remember, audiences are only going to vote at the end. They're only going to vote for the thing they remember at the end. And if it is limply walking up a structure, that is not going to get you through the qualifications. And Armenia, we are talking, how do we get you to qualify, not how do we get you to win? Yeah,
because I think that, unfortunately, while we are expert Eurovision commentators and we are staging professionals, and we did actually have a personal hand in Bambi Talk staging, produced myself, I made the shoes. We unfortunately are not miracle workers. I don't believe that we can get this to number one, but I definitely think that we can get it to qualify.
Yeah, I think, and also random one, because it'll be a theme. I think that if you're not Albania or you're not Belgium, get rid of red as your staging color.
Yep.
There's a lot of red lighting this year, and I think that unfortunately 2 artists have taken that spot.
Yeah.
One because it's their entire brand, and one because it's their country's entire brand. So I think like less red in your staging will make you stand out.
Yeah.
So
I quite enjoyed the pulsing light, like climbing up the hill thing.
But
I
make
thought
it a
that was
different
really
color.
cool. Yeah, I completely agree.
Make it green.
Exactly.
Anyway.
But, yeah, I think that like the hill climbing, cut it out.
Yeah. It's a cool backdrop. It's the night motif is fun, but I do think Carl Alessandro did it better. I'm a bit sad to think that Pug's probably going to keep it and Carl's going to lose it.
Yeah.
That's
all right. Carl can bring it back for the final.
Closing thoughts are vocals need major improvement for the final, and he needs to work on it. And I think the staging is strong, but structurally change things around and don't climb the structure. That'd be my tips.
Whoa.
Look at that.
Time and magic, baby.
I know. For you guys, it looks like nothing has happened at all. Maybe the lighting's a bit different.
And I know that you would never have known because we are violently professional.
Professional editor in the building.
Oh, yeah. But a little bit of time has passed.
Like a full day.
Yeah. So we did get a little bit interrupted while we were filming our episode. So we thought better to save our thoughts for the next time we could get together, which is right now, baby.
Hey.
So we're back.
That gets her.
Yeah.
Just to get us back into the mood of the episode. We were yapping about Albania. We were yapping about Armenia.
And now
we're
yapping about Straya. Now.
Gojo. Milkshake Man.
So, starting with the song.
Yeah.
I think that there is an unknown element.
So this is our first song we're talking about, which is just a music video and no live performance.
Exactly. So this is our first internal selection. So for me, vocally, we don't know yet.
No.
I do think that the patriot in me says that he could be Celine Dion. That is apropos of nothing.
Based on his real belting that he did.
Oh yeah, just based on the generalized vibes.
When we saw him at the Eurovision party and he did a full rendition of My Heart Will Go On, we went, wow, this man's special. Yeah,
and I thought, Austria, who? The soprano on this man, the putt. He actually did like a full backflip on stage as well, so that was really interesting. I think, though, that for the mixing from the song, I think if we can just bring the same mix to the stage, maybe pump up the bass a little bit.
I have a note on the mixing.
Tell me about it.
I want the chorus, just shake it. I want that to be punchier.
Louder.
I will probably mention this a lot, but Celia Capsis, Cyprus last year, the way that there were subtle things that punched up her mix to make it the choreo really work, those orchestral hits really resonated. I want that level of punch on every one of these choruses, because I feel like in the mixed version of the song, it's definitely like a harsh,
but it could use a little bit more juice.
I want something that's like, I want that chorus to really in.
Give me a milky punch in the face.
Give me a milky punch. So that's probably it in terms of, and again, will he deliver vocally? I'm going to say yes, because it's not a particularly vocally hard song.
No. And then my note as well is that I would probably love to see from the song is that I noticed that he has an extra couple of seconds up his sleeve. Because I
see.
Yeah, the music video version I think was only was very top end of 2 minutes 50, but it did also feature the Eurovision Song Contest sting at the beginning. He's got a few extra seconds up his sleeve. I'd love to see an extra line in the "You Say I Say." Sweet,
make a real moment out of that.
Yeah, because I reckon he could get the crowd in there going feral.
Let's transition then to our staging, because I think this is where we have a lot to both talk about, because we have both planned full stagings for this song in our head.
I would argue quite elaborate and borderline impossible and borderline illegal staging.
Well, I did have to tell you, Nick. Nick came to me with a beautiful concept for Milkshake Man, and I did have to remind Nick that at Eurovision you cannot have things like water or maybe milk on stage as a concept, because it is at OHS House.
So my original staging was something a la Flashdance, full chair, string pull, milkshake. That's
probably
also
not going to get that.
Yeah, probably not going to get that across the board. But what do you? So tell me your practical
guys.
vision.
I want you to picture this.
We're all going on a journey.
So the
here.
song starts with obviously that green sleeves interpolation.
Yep.
I want there to be a literal ice cream van on the stage as a prop. I want the camera to pan around during that green sleeves rendition to the back of the van, and then come and take a sip. Gojo bursts out of the back of the van.
Oh.
Yeah, right?
Oh,
Are we
fun.
seeing it? And then he's like playing around with some staging stuff. And then that first shake it, I want the lighting to go like off and it's like greens and reds and maybe like a cool kaleidoscope effect where it's like, you know, everything happening. Maybe there's like a cool like mirrored tunnel he can get into to do some like shapes in.
Yeah.
And then I want it to go back to like reality back in the verse.
I love that.
Do we love?
So my vision for it, I think the beginning of the song, I think he's on stage, no milkshake van. I think that him and the girls are just doing a bit of like a stagnant, still like close to camera, like looking down the barrel and like, and then we've got the dance bit of the chorus. It goes off. Him and the team make their way to the central part of the stage. The part where it goes ding, the stage floor opens up. The milkshake van rises from underneath.
He's got a milkshake van reveal.
Yeah, he's on the top of the van.
Oh.
Because now I'm just thinking, like, him on the top of... Oh, sorry, babe. Him on the top of the van with the girls dancing. I say sweet, sweet. You say yum, yum. He's on top of that damn van.
It's funny you say that because one of my thoughts was when I say sweet, sweet, you say yum, yum.
I didn't say fucking sweet.
I didn't say fucking sweet. No, I want him to sort of Erica Vickman style disappear for a bit as the audience is getting into it.
Yeah.
To your point, he's now on top of the milkshake van. He has got a guitar as he goes into that final bit. The milkshake van, fireworks attached to it, sparks coming out of the van, and he's like ripping on the guitar at the end of the song.
Maybe you can just ask Erica if he can borrow the giant microphone.
I realize now I have just ripped off the end of Ikoma where she's just on the microphone doing the exact same thing. Okay, rework it, guys.
Rework it.
I had an alternate idea, just quickly.
Yeah.
So, you know the traditional milkshakes cups, like the metal ones?
Yeah, the metal ones, yeah.
A giant one on stage, and instead of obviously milk, it's like dry ice is billowing out of it. And then Gojo climbs out of it as he comes into the song. So it's like a giant milkshake maker, and he's like, come and take it. And he's like,
oh my God. No,
Yeah.
that's, I think, my winner. that would be fantastic.
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be so good. Yeah, no, I'm feeling it for Australia. I think that there's so much that we can do. I think we're opening semi-final 2, which is a shit hot spot
super
for us to be in.
advantageous. Sometimes, like, openers are sort of they can be a death slot, but I think if you're in high, they reserve it for high energy songs because they've the capacity to be memorable, and I think we're going to be fine.
Yeah. Say what you want about this song. It opening the night, I think, is going to get us off to a good start.
Yeah.
Again, fully aware that this opinion comes from a place of complete and utter bias. There is no objectivity here. We completely love this song, and I just think that it has such potential on the stage.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's our notes. I think with our recommendations, Gojo could prime himself for potentially even top 10 placement.
I agree.
Yeah. So, and I think this song comes alive with a fun, dynamic staging. And so go all out with it.
Yeah.
Go maximalist. Make the crowd like remember you for the rest of the night.
Because I really think that, like, with the way this song goes quite manic at the end, I really think that
much potential.
You could drive that crowd feral.
Exactly.
Speaking of driving the crowd feral,
one of our big ones, one of our big boys.
So we've got Austria.
Yes, JJ, Wasted Love.
Yeah. So now, looking at the spot that Austria comes in the final, like, look, realistically going into it regardless, I don't think that JJ's really going to need any of our support personally.
Yes.
Because it seems that the Eurovision crowd is very much on JJ's side.
Yes.
Will that be the same on the night with more of a, I guess, like a more generalist Eurovision audience that may not be into that as much?
We'll see.
Remains to see, but I think that he's going in a very strong position.
He's coming after Armenia, which I think is really good for him too.
Yeah.
Because I think if Park doesn't deliver and then we have something technically kind of perfect, Austria is only going to stand out more.
Yeah. And then gets in as well, kind of like ends a period of the actual qualifying
well, you
songs.
can't vote for the UK, so it also means that Austria has like a period of sort of remembering. However, I did see somewhere that you can't vote in the semi-finals till after the last entry.
Okay.
So even if the UK performs, it's not like people can vote for Austria. But still, things to consider.
Yeah. So that being said, song-wise.
Yes.
Now, I think that, again, haven't seen because we've seen the music video, but I think that from my understanding, we can rest assured that we're going to be getting a pretty flawless set of vocals.
JJ can sing this. We're absolutely fine with vocals.
Yeah. The only thing that I would probably love to see is in the second verse, after we get that first chorus in the opera, I think that there's like they build a little bit of instrumentation in behind it, but I think I would really love to hear like a
bit more of the contemporary notes coming through, because whilst I love the EDM drop at the end, maybe in verse 2 if that contemporary production pumped up a bit, would love. I do want to say something though, I want
to hear it.
It's a risk, but I think JJ's fine with it. But just a consideration is, I do think when you're performing opera, you're performing sort of technically much harder versions of much harder genres. I do think the audience is a lot more perceptible to when it's not good.
Yeah.
Like you can be a rock singer and not have the strongest voice, like Gojo, for example, and we're forgiving. But I think JJ's sort of priming himself to have to perform it absolutely technically perfectly. He is going to, so I'm not worried, but it's just if you hear an off-note opera thing, it's a lot more noticeable than a rock song.
I completely agree, because like, not saying that this song is jury fodder and it was made to be jury fodder, but I think that songs like this that are very sort of like based on a technical element, like something like opera, are really built for the jury, and the jury will be very harsh if you try
flat in any
if
way.
you try and be a B and you're a B plus, amazing. If you try and be an A plus and you're an A minus, that is a gap of a million years.
But not super concerned, but just thought it was an interesting piece to discuss. But staging.
Yeah.
So we know this for a fact. He has got Bambi Thug's
stage
creative director. I will get his name up because we mention him constantly.
Yeah, of course. So for me, for staging, while you look that up, what I would really, really love for this is I'm going back to Bulgaria. I'm going back to Victoria. And I'm going back to the big rock on the stage. I thought that was absolutely fantastic. What I would really love is, very similarly to Victoria, I would love to see JJ maybe start sort of isolated by himself on a rock in the middle of the ocean. So it's sort of bringing in themes of the music video.
Sorry, guys, just to interject, just so we know, his name is Sergio Yan? Sorry, not Spanish.
Okay.
I think, but so he is doing the art direction for Wasted Love.
Fabulous.
Go on.
Yeah, so I would really love to see like the loneliness, like the isolation on the rock. Like I feel like it would bring in a bit of that music video. And then the second verse, I would love to see him stand up and just make his way down. Now, before I unfortunately was shut down in my liquid staging ideas.
Oh no, not more.
I have more liquid staging. So I did have the energy, again, probably harkening back to the music video a little bit, but not a direct copy. I really want to see like Cornelia Jacobs in Liverpool, like in the pool at the bottom.
Yeah.
But like a bit of like dancing, just like really just like kick, push, bang, bang in the water, like slow movement, but like really like firm, high energy. Bit of splashing, unfortunately.
You were just giving a bit of what's that song from Chicago? Jailhouse.
Cell Block Tango.
Kick.
I just want
splash.
Yeah. Cicero.
Yeah.
I just want Catherine Zeta-Jones as a backup dancer for this. But yeah,
I have some suggestions. If you wouldn't mind me interjecting, that I think
if you've got some legal suggestions,
Yes.
that would probably be a good start.
So I think what I would love is, this is one of the few songs where I think the music video should be the staging. I think the paper boat motif needs to be on stage. I would love if there could be some like forced perspective things where his paper boat looks tiny at first, but then we change camera angle and we realize it's massive and it becomes his stage.
A bit a la Leslie Roy maps, like where it's sort of like the scenery looks huge and then you zoom back and she's on the TV like that small.
To mimic the music video where it starts off tiny and then he's on the boat. I love the idea of the storm coming on the second verse. And then what I thought is, rather than having literal water, why not have a really cool bit where he falls off the boat from behind, and maybe the boat has like LED lights around it or like a digital screen around it. And so he falls off the boat and it match cuts to him falling in the water, like a recorded version of it. So it looks like he's drowning kind of as he falls off the boat. We have a moment there, and then JJ can appear somewhere else as the... Like, so it kind of creates the illusion of falling underwater. Yeah. We then have digital JJ drowning as it goes, wasted.
Yeah.
Wasted.
Oh, I really like that. See, you're much better at staying within the lines.
I have a fine arts degree, everyone. I actually do video for a living. So
weaponize that BFA,
weaponize
baby.
that BFA right now. So yes, I think practical and I think mind-boggling would really work for this song. Like
I agree.
something, it feels impossible because of how it's been staged, but you realize it's just really good art direction, which we're gonna get with Sergio.
And I think that we've already seen the ability that Sergio has to really like manipulate camera angles to build that sort of suspense and misunderstanding of space.
Yes.
So I think JJ's in good hands. I think this song is in good hands. I think it's got such a surge that they're not going to have to do a lot. But I think this is one that has probably big potential to be let down by the staging. But it seems like all the elements... Sorry, when I say that, I mean the song itself. But I think that all the elements are so there.
We have nothing to worry about.
Yeah, I'm not stressed.
Look, we both didn't put Austria in our top 10. It's not because we don't like the song.
Yeah.
But I think that, if anything, it might go up in our rankings if the staging, like, delivers.
Because don't forget, like, not to go on about it again, but we had Bambi Tog absolutely nowhere near our top 10 after the national finals performances.
And then...
Oh my God. Now they are...
Wig snatched.
Horned. Crown that witch. Ugh.
Horned.
Ich komme.
Oh no.
So, now that we've got something that we have nothing to worry about, let's move on to something that I unfortunately think that we've maybe got quite a bit to worry about.
I think this following country is fighting a losing battle.
Yeah. So, we are talking about Azerbaijan.
Wagamama.
Mamagama. With the song Run With You. Now, Azerbaijan has the severe and utter misfortune of appearing what I am choosing to call the Fratelli Patriotism group. So, appearing directly in between Italy and San Marino.
I didn't see that.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Oh no.
Yeah.
They are in an Italian sandwich now.
So unfortunately, like the
this is not
Patriotica
good.
is going to be loud.
Oh no,
So-
they're going to be crushed.
Oh yeah, I think, and obviously Italy unvotable for in the semi.
So guess where their votes are going?
Yeah, exactly. So I think that they're going directly to San Marino.
Ooh.
So I think that Azerbaijan has got big plans that they need to make because the song's fun, but I think it's going to go severely under the radar in this block.
The question we're asking ourselves then is, how do we get Azerbaijan into the final?
Yeah.
I don't really want them in the final, but how do we get them there?
So how do we get them there? So I think predominantly, like, I think the song's pretty good. Again, we haven't seen anything live for this song, but I do actually quite enjoy the song. I think it's fun. I think it's got a bit of an ethno element to it. I don't really know what could be done for this song to help it along.
There's not a lot to talk about in this song. I think my concern is
we
that
just need to see it live first.
his falsetto singing with poor breath control might, on a live version, come across like quite panty and quite like exhausted. It's quite a common thing when you see singers who sing in that vocal range not be able to deliver that over the course of a whole song.
Maybe.
Yes.
Let's jump to the staging.
Yes. I need to say something.
I would love you to.
I need to get off my chest.
I have a feeling that your first note and my first note are going to be exactly the same.
Azerbaijan, I swear to fucking God, if you assemble this man robot on stage as a part of your staging, I am somehow figuring out a way to steal votes away from you.
Yeah.
I'm rigging this so that you don't get through.
We are going full Survivor jury selection, and we're doing a steal a vote.
Okay, so like we said, Austria needs to follow the music video. Azerbaijan needs to not follow this video.
For context, my first note was abandoned music video.
Oh God, it's cute in the music video, but if you do a whole bloody like choreo around like he's a robot now, he's a man, it's so tacky. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So I think that this song's probably going to need a lot of support. I don't think that they really need to do much on the stage.
No,
Like,
I don't think
they
this
need
needs to do much.
structures and stuff.
No.
I think that this song will benefit from a lot of like screen visuals. I think this will probably be one where we'll see like some fun and some interaction with like the screen and what's going on. I think that they need limited choreo. What I could really see for this one is I could see a bit of like a close camera, like walking storyline and like really making full use of like the stage.
Bit of like the busker.
Yeah,
Malta 2023.
Yeah,
where
like
they
a bit
have
of the
that
busker,
little
or even
vignettes.
even a little bit of buddy Estonia, Stefan. Like I could see where he was sort of like dynamic and moved around the stage a lot.
That.
I could see that for this song because I think that like obviously you got I think it's two band members and then the lead singer. So obviously the two band members,
the trio.
The band members will stay where the band members will stay. That's fine.
Tell them what to do.
They can if they can play moving drums. To be fair,
They're not playing their instruments live. They can. They can just walk around like.
But yeah, I could see like a really good like walking storyline, sort of like journey traveling like around the stage. I don't know. Maybe they need to recreate, what was that extremely famous music video from, I want to say, the early 2000s with all of the treadmills?
Oh, okay, go. Here it goes again.
Yeah, maybe they could do something stupid like that.
So, okay, I'm going to throw you not a curveball, it's actually a very safe ball, but I'm going to throw you one because I think this is where I really see them succeeding. Do like Joker out, Slovenia.
Malta.
Joker out, Slovenia. 2023.
Apologies.
Do you like Joker out for like a band, of dynamic people? Their staging was just them being a charismatic band.
Yeah.
I think if these three are on stage, they're dressed well, they're interacting. One of the biggest ups I can give to Joker Out was the way that the camera would cut to different band members and they'd just be doing like little cheesy bits to camera, but it works so well and it made it not just feel like the singer. I think these guys could really benefit from a similar situation where they're all kind of like doing their bit, and then there's a bit where the guy's got his traditional instrument and it cuts to him, and it's not much more than that.
Yeah.
It's a band performance. It's indie rock. Just like take us to the gig.
Yeah. Again, that's where I think that they could probably benefit from like the screen visuals being like the main moving
some fun
piece.
stuff behind, but I think the focus is on this is a band. Let's enjoy going to the rock show. Well, rock's the extreme use of the word, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, but I think that like if they bring it and the vocals are good, I think that Azerbaijan has the potential to qualify. I do worry.
They're fighting an uphill battle.
Yeah, placement shouldn't matter too much, but I think we live in a reality where that does, and I think that Azerbaijan got rough placement for this semi.
I don't see it for them.
I don't see anyone making their way out of that spot breathing.
Yeah, but if they follow our advice, they will
win the competition, and that's just a fact. So speaking of winning the competition, let's talk about Belgium.
Whee!
So we are now moving just before the Patriotica block.
Red Sebastian strobe lights, by the way.
Yeah. We're now moving just before the Patriotica block.
Semi-final one.
But unfortunately, we are now wedged in between Italy and Norway.
Okay. I'm a bit concerned. I think Belgium's qualifying pretty comfortably. I'm not super concerned about it coming before Italy. I think it's the Norway-Belgium sandwiched together just because they're both young male pop. One's more EDM, one's more traditional contemporary pop, but I do think that these two right next to each other may create fatigue and lower votes for both of them.
Have we been partying for too long in that period?
I'm still confident. Like, again, I do think both will likely qualify. Yep. I think that if anything, Belgium may have the upper hand here because if you think about Strobe Lights as a song, loud, bombastic, if there's no ad break between Norway and Belgium, Norway could be the one that gets forgotten.
Yeah, and I do think as well, like Belgium, it's kind of odd because obviously you got Portugal into Norway, which I think is going to help Norway stand out, but then you got Belgium into Italy, which I think will help Belgium stand out. So it'll be really interesting to see what happens there.
Yeah.
But let's talk about the song. What do you want from the song?
So I think one of the things that's really made me confident is we watched Red Sebastian's cover of Arcade, his unplugged cover, and vocally there was a lot, like we already saw the training coming in handy.
Yeah.
His vocal control compared to the national final has improved substantially.
Yeah, because I will say, I did have some very minor concerns because, the vocals were really good in the national final, but there was a little bit of harshness there that I think needed to be worked out. But I agree, watching that cover has made me feel confident that's being worked on.
So it's clear that he's working on it. And again, a lot of these artists are aware of the criticisms from their national finals. We're just adding to the echo chamber. That's probably it for me in terms of production. I think that this song gets it. It gets the need to go hard. It gets the need to really drive home this EDM beat. I think that's going to be conveyed on stage. It was conveyed in the national final. I think one of the things I really love, and we'll transition to staging as I say this, is those jump cuts during the drop really drive this sort of sense of urgency and it makes me want to
because my only other note on the song was that honestly this track slaps so hard.
It's so good.
Red Sebastian is an amazing performer, but I think honestly turn the vocals down a tiny bit
and
turn the track up, because that track gives me indigestion.
In a good way.
Yeah, bracket's good. But I think maybe And that could also potentially help if there is still any pitchiness on the night, because it's a hard song to sing.
Hard song to sing.
Yeah.
And Red Sebastian's not a dancer. And I don't think he's going to dance. But I think that this is for him to sit here and belt as the editing and the lighting and everything around him breaks down. And I do want to I want to talk about the staging. I think as an editor, I kind of see the chunks of how this staging was done at the national final, and I almost just want to take the elements and swap them around. I just don't think it was ordered very well. So he starts on the platform in the national final. He starts elevated, and as the song progresses, he comes down, and the dancers join him and whatnot. I think flip that, first of all.
Yeah, I completely agree.
Okay, one thing I thought would be really, really cool is, so it's called strobe lights, right? And there's that instrument that's like, it goes like
yeah.
Imagine if they were like individual spotlights like flickering along the stage, and the last one was on Sebastian.
Because what I would really love, and like obviously we can't comment on the stage at this point, but I would really love, I think it was maybe Austria in 2015, the staging where like there was the big beam,
lamps.
that all wrapped around. Like imagine that. Like obviously we can't bring back stage. My recommendation: bring this song out.
Get him to do it on the 2015 stage.
At the end of 2014.
So I'm thinking more not like physical lamps. I'm talking like beams of light from the top, like illuminating different parts of the stage until it stops on him in the last one.
Yeah,
and then I think verse 1. It's him by himself. And then I had this really cool idea that was like, as he goes, step into the mirror, a hand reaches out from the camera and like grabs him as if it's like pulling him into the wonderland of the rave.
Oh.
And then that first like strobe lights, we kind of get over the top lighting and we kind of see like a club almost, a club vignette.
Yeah.
And just use like a tighter angle so you can make 6 people look like it's a full nightclub. And it's sort of like, you know, he's joining the thing. And then it's like, it's where? And then when he finally does that scream, the camera crash zooms out and we see the whole stage and the crowd go nuts and everybody's doing this and the jump cuts get added
and
again.
Then I think that the dancers like flood away from him.
Exactly.
Yeah, like
once the song opens up, the dancers go away. But I like the idea of as it's building, it's tight.
Like I almost want it to feel like a little bit like claustrophobic.
I want it to feel like a Berghain rave, right?
Yeah.
Like it's a sweaty rave. And so and then basically continue that motif in verse 2, and then finally, as the song gets to its crescendo, then raise the stage.
I completely
close up angle. You don't notice the backup dancer just clipped him onto the platform, and he goes, "That's where I wanna start." And then, oh god, sorry, that was bad for me.
You need to go see Red Sebastian's vocal trainer.
And as he's belting that final verse, he's literally rising from the floor as if to like, you know, the dance floor has made him into the spectral plane.
Yeah.
Like that to me would be so strong.
And I almost want like the manicness of like the dancers at the end of it, almost like clawing up at him, like trying to get up to where the platform
like his
is.
Staging is going up, and you see hands grab.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
like
so cool.
I feel like that'd be cool because I think that you've pretty much covered exactly what I wanted for the staging. Don't blow your load too early, Belgium. Put that platform down, bring it up at the end. Don't start. You can't start high and come low. Bad idea.
Yes.
Start low, go high. Same with buying shares.
When they go low, we go high.
Exactly. And that's what I would really love to see. I think that you've covered everything that I would
so recommendations for Belgium would be like vocal control, but we're pretty confident that's going to be there. And just taking a really solid staging package in Belgium and just like switching it around. Like literally, you've got all the pieces. You just need to piece it together differently.
And then I just reckon some tiny little tweaks to that mix to really, really focus on like... You got a track called Strobe Lights. It's a rough and heavy,
dirty
club banger.
Dirty club banger.
Like,
it's
punch me in the head.
Yeah,
like punch me in the head with the music.
I completely agree, and I think if he can achieve that, I do think people are okay. I get why the Eurobubble is cynical towards this song because they don't really like club music. We have literally just come out of a Brat Summer. Like, I genuinely think that the voting public is gonna hear this song and be like, it's the 2000s dance floor that Brat Summer was giving us. Let's go. So I'm hopeful this makes it. I see a lot of discourse saying that this is borderline for people or it might not shock non-qualifier. I think that it's not going to take much for this song to qualify.
I think that this song is attractive to a larger audience.
The gays.
The
basic gays.
Yeah, who loves Eurovision?
Yeah, well... the gays who don't make their entire personality finding like the most niche song of the competition and then being like, I can't understand why you don't like it. It's like, okay, pick me.
Yeah.
Anyway, rant.
I think that that's going to cover us off for the songs that we want to talk about today.
Yes.
We will continue to make our way through in alphabetical order in other episodes.
Yes, I'm excited. I think this is a really cool way to sort of talk about these songs through a different lens, you know, and just say what we would love to see. And who knows, maybe they'll listen to us. No, maybe like we'll have correctly predicted some of the changes.
I'm really interested to see
potentially we're going to see elements. It's like, oh my God, we literally said them to do that.
And just know that we are going to be smug as shit if that happens. But what I would love more than anything else, dear listeners, dear viewers, I want to hear from you. What ideas have you got? Because I know that somewhere in between all of the barabara bastuing that you are doing, that you have got some absolutely fabulous ideas for how these songs can come to the stage.
Yes.
Now, you are not limited to only speaking about the songs that we spoke about in this episode, but
I think you are, because we're going to talk about all the other ones.
But
we'll have a chance to talk about the others.
Yeah, we will be talking about other ones in other episodes. But yeah, if you've got an absolute banger that you've been sitting on that you're like, oh, if Austria does this, literally, like, it's going to be the first ever 1,000 point televote.
I want you to use your imagination. Like this is, I love just hypothesizing fantasy worlds of what could be. And like, if that's what you guys like, please join us, because we love this stuff.
And I'm putting a caveat on that. You put as much liquid on that goddamn stage as you want to. I can't. I've been banned. But you put as much liquid on that stage as you want to. I don't care if your idea is literally they peel the roof of the arena.
We drown the arena.
Yeah, like literally they fill the entire... So they hand out snorkels to every audience member, and then I want to hear it nonetheless, because I think that we can see a reality outside of the big stage, and I want to know what you think. But Callum, do you have any final thoughts?
I don't, other than... Please subscribe. Please comment if you like what we're doing. We like what we're doing, and we're really enjoying interacting with people out there. It's super fun, and we'd love to we'd love to make this a lot more of a larger community. So we're just trying to grow.
And always just remember, leaving awful comments, yuck, bad taste,
gets you deleted. Okay. With that, I think we've reached the end of this episode on how to win Eurovision 2025.
And because we've talked about a lot, but there's always a lot to talk about. And you know why? Because that's Eurovision, baby.
That's Eurovision, baby.
Thanks so much for joining us, guys. We'll see you in the next one.